Oh, camera moved again. Wagwan. Sorry about all the fakiness. I wanted to start at 4:02 like I normally try to, but got a lot of flats to do today, so got to get work done first. Got a sticker. So I just finished doing a Batwoman piece for Hi-Fi. I had to get that sent off as fast as possible. Last panel worked on, all done. So got a few surprises here for you today. Let's get some music on in the background first. If I can get everything to work today. So, as many of you know, I do and have many clients that I flat for, and I did one for Mark Brooks 2 weeks ago, I think now. And the announcement came out for the fall of the House of X, the rise of the Power of X or House of X. So I'm going to share that. Let me get my screen going here. And share. I wish there was a way in StreamYard. Maybe I have to talk to them. But here is, yes, and my desktop looks exactly like Doc Ock from Into the Spider-Verse. So just checking to see if that's appearing, hopefully. So yes, this is it. This piece was incredible to work on. Got this on a Friday night, got it done Saturday afternoon, early evening. It took me probably about 12 hours. The first, when I flat, there's a couple of ways of doing this. And I've always suggested that you as the flatter, even as the colorist, renderer, the next renderer is okay, just making sure my little window's still there, is either work on the foreground characters or background to foreground. In this case, I asked Mark right off the bat once I saw the piece and saw how detailed this was, as most of his pieces are. I did the Unholy one for him with Spawn, The Last House of X, and Power of X, and the ones before that, etc. And I asked him flatly right off the bat, because I know him and what he wants for his pieces, as I do for like Shelby and for others, like Scotty Young, is separating out. Did you want the background separated, on a separate layer, and characters on a foreground layer? And he agreed, because I was like, this is probably what would be easy for me to do. That way, because I found out that Richard Eisenhoff, I've not heard of him before. I'm going to look him up later. I guess he does a lot of 3D art. And so in this case, usually when you're flatting a piece, you don't usually go into the blacks, because there's no need to. If you're going to speed up the process, you can cut right through it. It saves you time. In this case, because I also knew that he might do the same things he did with the one Avengers, with Thanos. I can't remember the piece name, but the artist might be a 3D artist. So if they're used to doing film work, film animation, painting, they want to have it so it wraps around. It's going to give this 3D effect, and they want to grab in the whole character, the whole silhouette. And that's what I did here. So, for example, with Scott, let me select all of Scott. Everything here on Cyclops is something that the next colors can capture and come in, and if they're going to do something off to another layer, so if they do like Control J, now he's isolated on his own layer, they can come in and then paint this whole thing and make it, give it the highlights and everything, rendering, rim shot, whatever. So I did that for that piece, and it's gonna do everything. Deselect. So I did the background first. That took me probably about hour, 2 hours maybe. Mark told me not to kill myself. He didn't need it till Monday, but knowing how busy I am with other clients, I knew I'd have work to do that entire weekend, and I did. So it took me almost 12 hours to do everything, because I also had to do some stuff for hi-fi and for Phil. And so I broke down, did this first part that Friday night, stayed up until about 2 in the morning, got it done, woke up the next morning, did all my regular work for my other clients, and then worked on the back. And he told me that these, once I knew the characters and what these are the past on the right hand side characters, and on the left, possible future versions, whatever. I know something that you guys don't know, so I can't say anything more than that. But I do know that the past one. So I knew Lady Manda. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. I just loved her. I think the only characters I got wrong was this one here. I knew who she was, but I didn't get the color combination. I also didn't. I broke down Exodus's gloves a bit more. They're a solid magenta purple. But I did that. I selected everything just in case, you need to. That's what we do as flatters. We select everything as much as possible so you can turn into all purple in the background, or match the colors. But I basically color matched everything as close to possible as the characters. And if you look at the actual piece, and I should have had that up here, it's spot on. I also messed up too on Starfire. I didn't know that Starfire's mask was white. I did the red because I love Starfire, and I knew who that was. And it took me some time to find the makeup of the costume. So when I looked, I don't think she had the mask on, and the references I found, but pretty much everything is kind of spot on. He told me about Wolverine being the yellow Wolverine. Again, I always prefer the orange and brown. That's my Wolverine. That's the one I love. The Frank Miller one shot is the Wolverine I know. And this is Starfire, or Sunfire, excuse me, Sunfire. I just hadn't seen him in a Kabuki mask before. And I didn't know what color Professor X's beard was. So, but otherwise, came in, knocked all this out. I did in quadrants. And so I think I actually started with the right-hand side first, because I'm a big Phoenix fan. I love Rachel Summers. I love redheads. And she was my favorite character. He told me the Storm was in the white 90s outfit, so I knew that. It's helpful. Got some people had mentioned they didn't see Colossus, but he's here. Havoc is another favorite character of mine. So the reason why I'm showing you this is because he made the announcement of it on his Facebook page and Instagram. He then told me to do the same thing, following up on the social media. So I'm on the next social media. And I did spend actually on Friday that first hour actually just looking at the artwork, especially Rogue. Okay, Rogue is Rogue. And that's what I do. If I get something from Adam Hughes, I will spend an actual hour just drooling over the artwork, trying to learn as much as possible, see what insights I can gain. Anything I do with Shelby's work, I do with Scotty, I do with anybody, Phil's stuff he sends me, anybody that I do work for, I will spend time and just go gaga over their artwork and understand how they came up with something, and see something I can learn and take into my own work. Yeah, so like this, that's beautiful. Because I was working on, and if you saw with all the inking I've done, I have been trying to work on the facial expression. So you see a progression. A lot of them were a little harsh. Just normal, plain, wide eye open. And then I started working towards getting sultry looks, and then working more towards that, and then coming up with a different type of how I do the upper eyelid versus the lower. Should I do it solid? Should I just do it after, when it's, after I finish penciling it, etc. So that's the whole piece when it all comes together. So I'll sharing that with you. The building course is, pardon me, a different color. The windows definitely are, but the reason why is I usually go in with a non-photo blue, and this is the Mystique. Oops, I'm the wrong layer. Mystique. This is the actual original color that the entire piece was. And it just happened to be because I used the more white for Storm. I wanted this, give some color for Mystique. But I do this because that way, when I come through, I can see, is there any other areas I might have missed? And it does happen. And then since there isn't, usually I make it, typically I leave that color for the windows, but in this case, I did that, and but I did go through and do each window and everything a different pane of glass, not pane of glass, but the window frame different. And as I flat, the more the things come out. So there's parts of this where the balcony, I didn't know what was what, and eventually once I laid over some color, I could see clearly that that's actually part of the balcony, railing, whatever. Same thing with pouches and armor. Like, I thought this was originally part of this guy's costume, but it was actually Kane's outfit, his hand. I was trying to figure out how that all flowed in together. But yeah, this Lady Mandarin, she was always my favorite when Jim Lee came out. I was like, so I tried to match as close as possible to that. So that was a fun piece to work on. That was inspirational. I knew this was Sunspot. We got Nightcrawler over here, my favorite character. So the two characters the only problem, probably too, I didn't get Quentin right. But two characters always, for me when I was growing up and reflected me, was Cyclops and Nightcrawler. I was talking about it being ADHD. My emotional dysregulation is kind of like Cyclops's optic blast. It's not controllable, just something that happens. I can't control it, can't come down from it, whatever. And being with ADHD, it's hard around a neurotypical person to be around me. So relate to that. Nightcrawler was born a mutant, literally in the sense of the term, with a cleft lip, cleft palate, and a couple other issues, and just trying to fit in the world. So him and I, relate. I didn't go down the priestly thing though, so I'm a little godly man, but not a priestly. I didn't like when they did that. I'm more the Captain Blood, swashbuckler type. I love those movies growing up, the pirate movies, with Errol Flynn and Basil Rathbone in them. So that's a little surprise. Let's turn the screen off. If I can figure out how to do that. Here we go. Okay, and then the next surprise, when we drive over to my desk, is show you what the color pieces look like. And then we'll get to inking a bust of Phantom Lady. So if you are on the stream and watching and enjoying everything, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for future. It's usually around 4:30. I'm aiming, not doing anything big this week, so that's basic time. And trying to hit 300 or 500 subscribers before the end of this whole Dutchtober-ish thing is done. So please do that, or by the end of 2023.
Do it! Just do it!
Again, shy never gets old. Let's go over to the desk. I'll show you what I've got. So 1 second. All right, so there's a blank desk. But here's what we'll be working on and inking today. This bust of Phantom Lady. I've always been a big Phantom Lady fan. And she's bustier than I usually like to draw women, so take some light of that. But there's some of the art. There is the Satana, still working on it, but it's coming along. Same thing with Jessica. We got Chainsaw Man. This one I kind of screwed up on, but the shirt, but I just let it go and just kept using it and going. There's the Firestar. I'm going to go through. I was going to ink and add in some hash marks, etc., but I might do it with colored pencil. There's Amia. There's this Lois Lane. I'm still working on these, still, beautifying them. There's that Emma Frost. Sled of Mercury. This one I'm pretty much done. I'm kind of finished with it. And then there's the Mystique. So that's all of them. The other ones are still being colored right now. The Goku, Wonder Woman, etc. So you guys got two big surprises today. And for two of you, you've got to see it first. All right. So yeah, I'm available for any flatting, cover art. You need a variant done. And if you need any issues of the Wayfarer, issue 1 is in my store. Just click, or the ticker's got the store. Anything you guys can do to help keep the lights on would be great. I want to keep this dream going. A lot of support is definitely appreciated to help, realize my dreams. And I'm working hard at it. So I said, I don't like to do a lot of objectifying women, but this one, again, it's Phantom Lady. She wasn't drawn with a small chest like Power Girl, or initially they were all medium size, normal women. But then as the time went on, their outfits became skimpier and their bust size grew. Now, what makes this one different than the rest is that this was done this week. I think it was done like Wednesday this week. And this is more of where my style is evolving to. And we see even with that influence from Mark, where the eyes are. So I was coming up with a certain look that I wanted for her eyes and how sultry. So I made a little mistake there. I think I might make that a shine. Look at it over here. And I'm feeling a bit more confident. You know, it's day 15, coming out the lines now. I'm not feeling as shaky or reluctant on laying these down as I did previously. Even to going to the part where I started editing where, you know, hatch marks should go. So originally I was going to do an homage to one of the Phantom Lady covers where she's tied up, and instead just did this bust instead where her arms are tied to her side, and this is gonna have like rope showing that she's kind of tied up there. And the costume is based on I think the new Freedom Fighter one. Yeah, when I was younger, I was a big DC fan because of Superman, Batman, and then um, I think I became, like most everybody, a Marvel fan. Right around time the new X-Men were introduced, when Wolverine came on board. I think that's when everything changed. I was still collecting some Justice League and some Batman, but the overall thrill of everything was from Marvel at that time. Then, of course, you know, when Jim Lee came on board, kind of cemented the Marvel reign. Even Liefeld, Feld. And then I went back to DC. So I think that's when those guys all left to go off to Image and Wildstorm, and then great rest in peace Keith Giffen, Mattis, McGuire run of Justice League brought me back to where you can draw people as like real, you know, that. And then Adam Hughes cemented my stay, because I was like, well, you can actually draw a person that looks like a human being. I didn't know that. Then I discovered Nexus and all these other independent companies creating artwork. I quickly moved away from the. Don't get me wrong, I love their stuff. To this day, still, Eric Larson, Rob, Jim, and McFarlane, but you know, Will Spartaccio, etc. Still love their stuff. Love reading it and looking at it, but moved away from that type of style to more naturalistic. So I'm probably gonna wrap it up here after this bit. I've got 2 more pages to do for Hi-Fi. And then I'm sure I'm going to get dropped some more pages from other people. So I want to get prepared. I also want to relax on my Sunday. Hope you all have enjoyed it and had a great weekend. All right, there we go. It has been signed. There's Phantom Lady. I appreciate everybody who's stopped on by. If you catch this later in the day or in the week, please remember to hit that like and subscribe. Comment below as well. So I will comment. I will respond to any comments afterwards. So if you're doing this and viewing this later in the week or next year, comment. Let me know. Again, you can visit my store. All my information is there. You can also reach out to me if you need any flat work done or coloring, or as a cover artist, again, any variants you need for your comic, I'm available. So I appreciate everybody for joining me. Catch me again tomorrow about 4:30 Mountain Standard Time, and enjoy yourself. Let's drive on out of here.